Badgers. Fall is definitely upon us. I just took the air unit out of the window and it's all misty and foggy this morning. So might be another one of those videos where it's a little bit gray and overcast tone. I'll try to lighten it up in editing, but got another COODEALS order that came in. This one is unintentionally deer themed. Kind of, well, more than anything deer themed. There's a couple deers in here. Couple deer in here. And then some other random stuff that I threw in to make the order, make the shipping worthwhile, all that kind of stuff. Also came with the free gift. If you saw my other COODEAL video, this is the free gift they tend to put in all the orders. So one sheet is DMC code stickers you can use on your storage containers, and then these B papers are release papers that you can put on the canvas if anything happens to the plastic covering that's over the canvas, or if you just want to take the canvas off and do something more fun, you can put the release papers down on. Just remember to put image side up. So that's free gift. Okay, so what made this an unintentional deer themed video, or order I should say, now a video. So it started with this one. I had placed the order, I'll try to remember to link it to this video, but I placed the order that I filmed last. My first, I think I just called it my first COODEALS order. I placed that order, and then I do get their emails and stuff, and typically there's a lot in there where I'm like, yeah, that's cute, but I can wait on it. And then this one came up and I was like, okay, that's really cool looking. So yeah, it started with this one, and then, like I said, I just started throwing canvases in to make the order worthwhile. And when I was looking for this one, I just happened to find the other deer themed one. I was like, oh, that's cute too. Okay, so the thing with COODEALS is you can pick your size. This one, I debated getting it in a 40 by 50, but given what's in it, it's basically just, there's like a stone gazebo type thing over here. You've got the trees in the back and then the deer. So I figured I don't necessarily probably need to go to a 40 by 50. And looking at this now, the 30 by 40 size looks pretty good. Looks fine. So yeah, that's what I decided to do with that one. But yeah, I was on the fence. I was almost gonna get the 40 by 50, which I mean you can do by all means, but this is just to show you in this particular image. It looks like it's technically a 30 by 45. The 30 by 45 size looks fine for this. So this is the image there, but you can see pretty well what it is. A deer in sort of a botanical garden setting. But yeah, just the overall, all of this together. There's another little building over here, and it reminded me of those, you go to botanical gardens, or sometimes you can go to those like really old established historic cemeteries that have little gazebos, or what's the other name? The mausoleum type things in there, and they're surrounded by all these like old growth trees and stuff because they were, the areas were built up centuries ago. It kind of reminded me of that, and that's another thing that I've seen around cemeteries a lot, and other people that do that kind of content on YouTube that I tend to watch just because I'm a history nerd. But the people that tend to do historical stories around cemeteries, a lot of times in their videos you will see deer pop up in and around the cemeteries. So yeah, just this big old image of a deer. It's interesting because it looks like it still has its spots, but a big old antler set. So I don't know, that's interesting. I didn't think those things went together. But overall, I just thought it was really nice and green looking. That's probably what mainly pulled me in, is all the green. And I see there is a green AB here, which is fun. I think that's the only AB. Let me double check the sheet here. Stapled the sheet for some reason. I'm not sure why. Oh, because there's multiple. Okay. There's 32 colors in this thing altogether. That's why it's stapled. I'm so used to getting the inventory sheets that are just one sheet. I was kind of thrown off by what else is in here. But yeah, it's just because there's 32 colors altogether in here, which is again another one of those things where you're like, it's just green. But in this case, I guess there's like a good 12 different versions of green or something. But that's okay, because I've told you guys that that's my favorite color, so I don't mind. So yeah, that's what started all of this. Got me on this deer train, because I think I feel like I also hauled a deer image. Yeah, I got that stained glass looking one in the first COODEALS order, and I think in that video I mentioned that I don't have anything against deer. I just don't have a lot of images of them in my collection. But I guess I'm growing into it. So yeah, thought he was pretty cool looking. Yeah, it looks like that's your one AB there, is sort of that forest green AB, which I don't see a lot, so that's fun. And then the rest is just a bunch of gray and green and yellow to make up this gardenscape. And then I think I mentioned in the other video, the other COODEALS, that they all tend to come with these slightly upgraded trays. Deer canvas number 2. And this one was just a simple one that I thought was cute and very fall festive. So a little mini panel one. It's 50 by 30. Oh, get close up there. I myself am not a PSL girly. I am very much a maple flavored girly, but that's not as advertised quite as much as the pumpkin spice this time of year. I feel like maple tends to get a little bit more love next month, like November time, Thanksgiving time. You start seeing a little bit more maple things. But yeah, that's usually where my focus is once all the pumpkin spice advertisements start rolling around. That's usually when I start looking for, okay, secret mode, where's all the maple stuff? Because I love maple flavored things. But whatever your drink of choice is, this is just really cute and sweet with a little deer peeking up over the side, and then you got him on the label there. You got some pumpkins on the side, and then I thought it was cute that the little ice cubes almost look like deer prints. That could be, I'm guessing that's intentional. So yeah, that's this one. There's a little acorn on the top of this one here. And then the star anise, I think that's what that's called, anise, whatever that flavoring is called that goes into a lot of fall time desserts. Anything else? Speaking of maple, bunch of maple leaves coming down. And some cinnamon stick there, and then some whipped topping up there. And then there's some cool gradients here color-wise I thought would be fun to do. I don't know if this one came with, I don't think this one comes, no. It doesn't look like this one comes with any ABs, but that's your color palette for that one. Just yellows, browns, creams, fall festive goodness. So those are the two deer themed ones that I put in the order, and then these other ones just while I was looking around the site came up, and a couple of these that I'll show now are ones that fall into the category I mentioned in the first COODEALS video, where I said the canvases that I've seen long time ago and then they were lost to time, so I thought, but somehow I kept finding all these old unicorn ones on COODEALS. I don't know if unicorn is the right term for these, because they're not ones that I was like actively heavily seeking out must have. They're just ones I remember liking in the past, where I was like, oh yeah, that'd be cool, and then they just sort of fell out of stock in other places and I forgot about them, and then I was like, oh, I remember I had that in a watch list at one point, just because I was into them, but I was kind of on the fence about them, and then when they came back around I was like, you know what, I do like them. So this one, this is very specific, but okay, when I was a kid, there was a commercial that used to come on when it usually came on early in the morning, but I also sometimes saw it in the afternoon. But I remember, if any of y'all remember, I think she was like a newscaster or presenter. I don't remember what her actual title was, but it was Joan London, had the short pixie blonde hair, and she used to do these commercials for like Zyrtec or some kind of I mean like the fall mode, because those deer the seasonal allergies, all that kind of stuff. I want to say it was Zyrtec, but it might have been something else. But those, the pills you take whenever you have seasonal allergy symptoms. But they always showed her in this living room where I think she was like wearing a bunch of white, and the living room was very like brightly colored, and it was, that 90s palette of like very bright pops of color and flowers in the background and stuff. And when I was little, I assumed that's what adulthood looked like. That's the image I had in my head of like, oh yeah, that's totally what my adult self is going to look like, is just, white linen clothes and bright pops of flowers and green, luscious greenscapes out the window and all that stuff. And as it turned out, that was not really what my adulthood ended up looking like at all. But I always held that image of like, well, that's what adulthood was supposed to look like. And so, yeah, this image, it just sort of reminds me of like that innocence of growing up. And my mom loved tulips, so there was always like, my mom wasn't really a gardener, but she had fake flowers all over the house, all over the time. So there was like fake tulips everywhere and things that had like tulip art on them. And her favorite color was that, I think I've mentioned in past videos, her favorite color was that super pale yellow, shade of yellow. So that also reminds me of, she loved this type of aesthetic of like the bright pops of pink and yellow, which she always teased me about, because I always leaned more towards darker colors and like dark jewel tones and kind of moody colors. And so she would joke like she didn't know how she made me, because neither one of her kids are like that bright spring Eastery palette type of people. Not that I don't like bright colors, I do like working with them in art and stuff, but like my general aesthetic doesn't lean a lot into bright colors like this. But it reminds me of a lot of happy things, so that's why I got that one. And it was one that I think I originally saw on Amazon a few years ago, and it was one of those ones that I had sitting in my cart, because I was like, I was kind of feeling it, but I was like, do I like it enough? And then it was one that disappeared. So yeah, there's 28 colors altogether, 30 by 40. Whoop, pardon me, 30 by 40. Whoop, nope, we are off balance. Hold on a second. I'm on a boat. Okay, nope, not actually on a boat. There's amazing how many situations in life will remind you of that song. What was I doing? Okay, 28 colors, 30 by 40. Yeah, pretty basic. Fun pops of color, tulips. And I don't know, I kind of like canvases that have windows in the background for some reason. I don't know why, but I'm just drawn to them. Just window shapes in the background. I feel like it frames things nicely somehow. As far as I've seen, everything from COODEALS always comes with an inventory sheet. So that's your image there. And then this is your bright pops of color palette. So that's the tulips. I have one big canvas in here that I am saving for last because I'm pretty excited for it. But one more before we get into the big one. This one, the first year or so that I started diamond painting, I saw almost everybody have this in their collection when they would do like the what's in my stash videos. I almost always saw this one pop up somewhere, and it was another one where every time I was thinking about getting it, I had that debate of, do I like it that much? I don't know. Do I like it just because everybody has it? I don't know. But I do, like, I've thought about this canvas for years because it was another one that disappeared for a while. And then I was like, I wonder if anybody still makes that one. And then when I got on all this COODEALS stuff, it just happened to pop up and I was like, oh my gosh, it's her. And that is the orange slice girl. Standard toolkit. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people had this when I first got into the diamond painting community. And it seemed like a fun one, but it was one of those ones that I was just like, how much do I like it? Am I in love with it? I don't know. But I figured since I had been thinking about it on and off for a number of years since I saw it disappear, I was like, I probably should just get it and put it in my collection, do it and put it in my collection, add it to my collection of redheads. Orange slice girl. There's a little bit of green for her eye. Some gray tones, I'm guessing for shading up in there and some of the background. And then just a lot of brown and orange, as you could guess. And then there's some red back there for her lip area. I'm not quite sure what's going on with the shadowing here. I'll have to work on that and see how it comes out, because I don't know if it's gonna look natural or if it's gonna look like she's wearing some weird ass choker. I don't know. Could be one of those trust the process canvases. So yeah, there's 28 colors in this altogether. 30 by 40, and you know, I'm kind of glad that I waited and didn't get that one before, because now that I have it on the COODEALS material, it's on that nice like linted back serged edge one, which when it was being sold before, it was on those typical like Amazon canvases that are just like the rough cut canvas, which nothing wrong with those. I have a ton of canvases in those, but it's nice to have waited and got it on a little bit nicer material. So yeah, orange slice girl. And then the last one, since we are just a couple months shy of Christmas already, I came across this one. Again, wasn't specifically looking for this type of image. It just came up with other things I was looking for. And when I saw it, I went, oh my God, that is amazing. I love this image. Just a little precursor warning. If you're at all disturbed, offended, anything like that by religious images, just here's your warning now. We're coming up on a Christianity piece. And I don't get a lot of these. I've mentioned in past videos, I'm not one that has to get all the canvases that make some biblical reference or says Jesus or God or whatever on the canvas. I don't get it if it doesn't elicit an emotional response from me. But this one definitely hit something in my heart. And it's a picture of what I'm assuming is Mother Mary cleaning up, or it could be Mary Magdalene. It's kind of hard to tell them apart sometimes, the way they're depicted in art. I'm guessing it's Mother Mary though. Cleaning Jesus, what looks like after the crucifixion, but yeah, it's interpretive. But I like the vibe. I mean, not so much him being beat up, but the vibe of, you know, the healing energy coming off of this, and that feeling of like, I don't know, it's kind of like your mom saying like, it was rough, but it's gonna be okay. And the way that nobody can do that quite like your mom. You know, the ones of us that are lucky enough to get the really good ones. My sympathies to people that get stuck with shitty moms, because that's rough. I lucked out. I got a really good nurturing mom, and this just, you know, that energy of, you're gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Mom's gonna fix you up. It's all good. You know, the expression on his face, the glare off of it, of just sort of leaning into it, and just the weariness, but you know, he's got her love there, just all of it. The whole energy of this I thought was really cool and nice and comforting, as much as it can be for an image like this. But yeah, you got the bucket of water down there, and there's water dripping down back into the bucket. Got a lot of good features on both Jesus and Mary. There's a lot of emoting on both of them. And it's just a lot of really nice detail in this. And this one, I went ahead and bumped it up to the 40 by 50 size because I wanted those features to come out really nice. And it gave me a lot of that Renaissance art style energy, which is nice. So yeah, really liked that one. 40 by 50, 40 colors altogether. Everything I got is in rounds, I believe. And this one did come with a few ABs. 3 ABs? 3 ABs, I think. So before I show you that, got a very soothing color palette on this one. Very soft pinks and browns. There's your ABs down there. This thing. Okay. This, my tripod wants to be a little wonky today. Okay, let me find the opening here so I can show you the ABs. I think there's only 3 of them. So this is your AB set for this one. You get that sort of soft sage green AB. See if I can, yeah, flip it this way so you can see it better. Yeah, it's like a sage green AB. And then you get a super, what was there? Oh no, there's 4 ABs. Okay, there was a little one tucked in there. So you get a super soft pink AB. And this one is a really light gray. This was the one that was tucked behind everything. This is a light gray AB. Not a lot of this one, but still really pretty. And this one, it almost looks white, but I think it's actually a super light blue. Maybe. So yeah, I thought that was a pretty sweet kit. This has been the year that I've been sort of tiptoeing into some of my larger canvases. I've been getting my feel for doing larger scale canvases here and there. I've done 1 or 2, I can't remember now. I feel like it, yeah, I think it was 2 so far, I think, of the 40 by 70 size panels. And then I feel like I've done at least 3 or 4 40 by 50s of this size. So yeah, I'm tiptoeing into getting into the larger ones. I've mentioned in past videos, it's a little bit harder because of just having that space where you can spread out a super big canvas. I don't really have a lot of that kind of space to work with. So that's why I've been a little bit slow getting into my larger canvases, even though I would love to get into them. Is just having the proper workspace where you can really dive into them and have the arm space to get in there. It can be a little bit tricky with living in a smaller house, but I'm figuring it out. I'm getting a little bit more used to things, rearranging things. So yeah, we're inching towards that. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got for this COODEALS order, this deer themed one, and some other stuff. So yeah, let me know what you think. Thanks for stopping by, and we will talk soon. Bye guys.